Hello, this is Eve Christoph, your love life muse, your divine feminist comedian, and world politics medium. So let's talk about how on earth did it happen that Biden managed to swap the names of some important people to him during an interview. How did this happen? Of all times when he's just trying to stop the ridiculous gossip that he can't do the job that he's been doing so beneficently, magnificently, right? Actually doing a job that would, for a young person to contain that much information, that many facts, those many programs that he's got going on, only a person in their 80s could do it, who's drawing on 80 years of information. And that's a lot of information to keep straight, right? So why would this happen to him when he's so on it in so many hundreds of ways? Well, it's called the law of attraction, the law of amplification, that whatever we focus on amplifies. So to have our whole country in this little snafu about judging him for his age and watching every little word he says, putting him down instead of lifting him up and supporting him, it's put more and more pressure on him to manifest the symptoms that we want by focusing on that. Whatever you focus on is basically what you want, because if you focus on it, you get it. It's like ask for what you think about and you get it. A lot of times we do, or we get the opposite because of what we want, because we are focusing with all our hearts on what we're afraid of and what we're, concerned about. So I'm actually amazed that he's made it this long without having little things come up with his wording, with so many people focused on this worry about him, But you have the real scary candidate, Baby Donald Dump, with his diaper full of crap that he doesn't want to get rid of. He likes the same old diaper. He wants the shit to stick, But he's showing real signs of dementia, real signs of pathology, real signs of complete word salads. If you listen to, his speeches will just be on and on, word salad of random things that aren't facts, that are lies, and nobody's calling him on that, hardly. Why? Because the same thing, the law of attraction. So many people have been focused on Baby Dump as either the villain or the hero, being so strong or so bad, that we have all amplified him. So if you want to look at what making Biden strong right now, you can't say it's his fault he mixed up those words. No, it's our fault. It's all of our fault for focusing with all our heart on negativity instead of positivity and supporting one of the greatest presidents we've had in 100 years. We have never had a president this for the people, by the people, walking picket lines with the workers, doing the full agenda of Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. He's absolutely effective because he's been in all the different offices that he would need to be in to understand every single quadrant of the story that he's got to navigate, right? Woo! So here's some cartoons that are really well done. This one, it's so funny. Here's a picture of Baby Dump throwing things at the wall, throwing tantrums, tipping over the tables, and then a waiter is asking this really nice, polite man at the restaurant, "You've got to leave now. We can't handle you." "Sir, I'm afraid I have to ask you to leave." And he's like, "What? Why aren't you asking the big tantrum thrower?" Baby Dump actually used to throw these exact tantrums in the White House. He would throw the food against the wall. This came out in the trial of the insurrection. One of his key assistants was there when he pulled out the tablecloth, smashed all of the archival dishes, and did that kind of thing regularly in the dining halls. That's a real thing. Why would you ask the guy sitting politely at the table to leave and not the terrifying loudmouth. Oh, because we personify masculinity by shouting and throwing tantrums and having a big diaper that needs changing. That's what we see as masculinity and strong, right? But a more sensitive man who takes care of his crop and who is trying to remember hundreds of facts and then forgets a few because he's got so many facts that are true that he's telling, that's more feminine. And we're terrified of anybody who is feminine in any way. We put down the feminine because this is a world of misogyny of the humans, right? That's why we demonized Hillary Clinton, even though she was way more qualified than Bernie Sanders. Our own party took us down by dividing, and it's happening right now. To put down our great president, our own Democratic Party, to do this. George Clooney, please step aside. You're just an actor, and this man is taking care of our entire country. 16 million new jobs. Could you do that, George Clooney? Would you please get out of the way? The deficit down, the inflation down to 2.6. Are you really, tell me, George, can you do anything related? No, you're an actor. We like you as an actor, but get out of the way of our politics. Now here's another cartoon I want to show you. Okay, here's this one. And we're back with wall-to-wall coverage of Biden's decline. And look at this, and it's showing all the things going up and up. Jobs are going up. The climate situation is getting taken care of. The manufacturing is going up. Incomes are going up, and we're talking about his decline. So let's not do that. Let's not amplify the worst. Let's take care of our own crop, though, and stop with the negative gossip. Stop with the amplification of something that is going to affect our president if we all keep doing this. That will affect the outcome if we all keep. It's very simple. What do you focus on? That will amplify. That's the spiritual lesson of today for all of us. And thanks for being with me. Okay, let's turn it around. Let's just turn it around. We can, come on. But we've got to turn it around. Don't expect Biden to turn it around. He's already done his best. He's already turned around the whole country. So let's just get out of his way, and let's, another thing to think about, his stuttering could be related to dyslexia. And I'm dyslexic, and Einstein was dyslexic, and many, many great, great inventors are dyslexic. And the dyslexic mind often has speech impediments of all kinds. And it's not that we don't hear other people's words correctly. It's that our own words, our own thoughts, everything's turning in circles. Letters turn, numbers turn. But what it gives the dyslexic mind the ability to do is to see the entire picture all at once, which is really what I see Biden doing. He's seeing the whole country, all the needs that all of us have all at once, and other countries too, right? So that's a lot to convey in a few sentences or a few little interviews. You can't really, but you still, as a dyslexic person, you see it all correctly, and you see hundreds of things other people don't see, and then you're judged for something very, a real kind of minutia about how you speak or how you write, so like in my case, like even though I was really, really smart, they wouldn't pass me from any grade, not my whole life. I could not pass until high school. I finally was able to pass a grade because they acknowledged the dyslexia and they allowed me to do things orally, and so I passed. And I was able to go to college simply because they allowed me to enter without any written exams to the University Without Walls, because they acknowledged the dyslexia. But if you don't acknowledge it, what happens is the dyslexic person is treated like an idiot, like for the smallest things. I could have written an entire show, directed a musical that I wrote, done a city mural for all on my own at age 18. I could do all these things, but if I couldn't write and all my words were word salad, I would be judged in a flash, if people don't take the time to see what they're getting, who's in front of them, they'll be like, oh, it's an idiot, it's a moron, it's a challenged person, and this is what Einstein went through. So like, we have to start including the dyslexic people as one of the greatest gifts to humanity. Yeah, that's me. Okay, well, most of us. Anyway, but that's the thing is, you have this it's an annihilation of the feminine, right? The mystic, the poet, the one who has the prophetess, the healer women who were burned as witches, millions and millions, and the whole Protestant thing of like femininity is just too sexy. You have this rampage against the feminine, right? From every direction. So dyslexia comes along, and one of the main ways that you can pound out the feminine from anybody is you sit them down as a little child and you force them to read and write for hours and hours on end with no body, no heart, no art. That's our country now, right? No sports, hardly, no dance, no social time, no real other languages, no adventures outdoors, no nature, nothing, right? So you do that, and you can pound out the feminine. You can take away the connection to spirit and to intuition and to heart and to connectedness socially, to beauty. You can through academics. You can destroy people with too much of it. But the dyslexics, you can't do it. You can't break them of it. They have no other way. What happens to us when when you're little and they're trying to force you to cure you of dyslexia, the sensation is like having your brain smashed to pieces, that they want to take the wholeness and break it into tiny bits. And all I did was just sit there with tears pouring down my face. Like that's the sensation of letters and numbers, really, when you're trying to live through them instead of through life. Isn't this intense? Think about it. So nature found a way to preserve the feminine in the dyslexic men and women who cannot be broken of holistic thinking and of mysticism with the other side, and with the spiritual connection with the physical scientific realities, just as real as the dream reality, where everything, all these hidden dimensions, 90% of what we don't see is this world. But the dyslexic knows that because they see it. Einstein could see patterns and pictures, and Biden right now is seeing whole pictures and whole patterns. I don't think he's categorized as dyslexic, except for I see him. I'm dyslexic. I see the speech pattern, and I believe he is on the spectrum of dyslexia. And it's a great thing. And it's not that it's dementia that he's reversing his words. It's the law of attraction that we've all focused him into. You prove yourself right now. We don't believe in you. You get what you focus on, right? And he's now worried. And also he's swapping things because he's seeing so much at once. So that's what happens to me. Like if I'm in a really intense situation where it's really joyful or really powerfully important, my dyslexia gets worse in terms of what I say on the outside and how my words swap and my letters swap, but it gets better in the fact that it's the dyslexia is amplifying, so I can see everything all at once. I can see even more. So like people are always saying, is your dyslexia better now? No, it's worse, which means it's better, because the stronger the dyslexia, the more you can see all at once, and the more you can write a whole play and then on to the next and write a whole book. And the amount of things that I get done, people kind of freak out about. Well, but I don't do it. I don't. I let spirit move through me. I connect with the other energies that want the Green Tara who wanted to paint herself. I just prayed and kept doing what she asked. Now, is that a pathology to be a prophet? do you belittle me and say, okay, she's just wing that. She's not grounded. But the thing is, Tara is here now. That's a grounded, real thing. My book's almost done now. It's only been a few months. These are not things to put down dyslexics for. these are things to start to understand. Instead of having all these schools like the one in Vermont that's trying to cure the dyslexics, and one of my friends, he's been working there for 15 years. He said, Eve, dyslexics, I know what you're saying. You cannot cure a dyslexic. No, you can't. It's like saying, let's give you a brain transplant. Let's give you a lobotomy so you can be like everybody else. Deny your feminine side completely. No, he said you can teach us to read and write eventually. Took me till age 28. I mean, I had the reading and writing thing supposedly learned, but I had no comprehension, which meant as I read, the words, sentences would swap around until I had a whole new story. Every time I read one page, it would be a completely different story by the end of the page, or no story, just word salad on the page. So this whole dyslexia thing, it's like we're being asked as a human species to be more feminine. And we know the feminine mind already, women, most of their whole brain lights up with everything they do. Whether they're washing dishes, or they're taking care of the child, or they're making love, or they're writing, it's the whole brain involved. So that makes them very much more aware and awake, where the masculine brain is one compartment at a time. I'm welding now. I'm cooking now. I'm making love now. It's boom, 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 which really frustrates women. But what we're being asked to do now is all of us look and see the feminine that we've lost, and the men to start understanding you can wake up the rest of your brain. It might not be natural for you, just like it hasn't been natural for us women to shut down all of our connections with our sensuality and the five senses, and laughter and dancing and drumming in the street, and mystical healing and prophesizing and intuition and all the things that we've given up. It has not been natural for us to just sit around and become one-dimensionally logical, like our masculine side is so good at being. No, that wasn't easy. So you guys, it might not be easy for you to open up to all these different levels, but you will love it when you do. You will be feeling way more human, way more alive, way more like, oh my God, there was all of this that I didn't allow. You mean my whole brain could fire all at once and connect everything all together all at once like Biden is doing? So that's why people are so pissed off by Biden because he's so feminine. It's like his whole brain is firing off at once to see this huge pattern, this huge picture of how to pull our country together, the world together, all these programs, what will be needed for every single character in the Senate and in the House and all around him to get on board, and what he could say and how to help them do that. That's a lot of his brain working all at once, okay? So stop with the worries, okay, about swapping a few names here and there. Okay? It's just like me, like on my test, I knew the answer completely to this entire thing I had studied, and I wrote the exact opposite in my broken letters because it's not other people's things that reverse on us. It's our own words when we try to express what we know, because our brain is actually turned upside down. So we have all these coping mechanisms and all these ways to turn things right before we say them. Sounds really complicated. It is. And sometimes, we've coped and all our coping mechanisms basically are good strategy, except for when me with time, like the meaning of the time reverses. It's not just the numbers reversing, it's the meaning of the time. So then you can see like, okay, if you have a dyslexic president, then that's going to make it a mess because they'll reverse all kinds of crucial things. No, they won't. The crucial things are never what the dyslexics reverse. Those are the things they get right. It's just the spelling and the numbers, and sometimes the way you say words sounds awful. or anyway, you heard my long rampage. Don't you think it's fun that we get to talk to each other online like this? I think it's amazing that I can reach you, even if I just have a few of you friends who are following what I'm thinking. I represent the divine feminine mystic, and I'm here to wake that up in you and remind you of the feminine values, and that Biden, back to Biden, He is standing for the feminine, for women and for jobs and for children and for the environment, not just standing for them symbolically. He's actually made the programs. So I really want him in that in the White House the next 4 years, with all those people he set around him, creating the power to move those programs forward. And if 3.5, 4 years isn't quite enough for them to all establish and those programs to have their roots go down. So whether or not he has a mental, if his mind starts to relax more and he needs more help, he's got the help. He's got it all around him, and he's the one who knows how to move it forward. And I want the feminine agenda to be taken into account, because we know that our anti-prezi baby Donald Dump is a shit show. The diaper will not come off, and it will explode in our faces if we do keep focusing on him. So just let him go. Don't even think about the criminal. Let's think about the great man and how to support dyslexically. See, that's what happens to us. Dyslexic, you know what I mean. Okay, much love. Thank you.